Good morning. You don't need anything for class today, just yourself. And you can start standing towards the back of your mat. Just give yourself a little bit of room. And then from here, just bring your hands onto your hips. Just bring your hands onto your hips, standing up nice and tall, and then just feel your weight shift forward over your toes. Feel your hips go forward, maybe your shoulders are back, and then find yourself come back over your heels or more centered over your feet, and then gently draw your hips up towards your ribs and then bring your head in line with your spine as well. With your hands on your hips, find the hip crease, and then you're just going to hinge at the hips, so where your femur goes into your hips rather than rounding forward. Your knees are nice and bent. You're sending your tailbone back behind you, and you're standing up nice and tall. And then again, find your nice alignment with your feet, or your weight rather, centered over your feet, and then hinge at the hips as you go forward. With the torso, keeping the legs bent, nice flat back. Come all the way up, 2 more like that. A little faster, hinge. Knees are nice and bent, and up. Last one, pause here with yourself bent, and then think about finding extra length, reaching back through the tailbone, and then round all the way down. Bend your knees as much as you would like. And then you're gonna straighten one leg and bend the other, and then you're gonna switch. So thinking about reaching back with those sitting bones, you alternate one leg bent and the other. If one of them doesn't straighten all the way and it's just more bent and less bent, that's totally fine. My hamstrings are crazy tight today. One more time to each side. The last one. And then bend both legs. Let yourself really sink down over your legs. And then from here, think that your pelvis is like a little wheel. And you're going to think about rolling it away and under as you start to round all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Your head will stay nice and heavy. And then pick yourself all the way back up. Good. From here, you're going to bring your right foot out in front of you now. And you're going to do that same hinging motion with the hips. But the right leg is straight, toes up towards the ceiling, and then stand all the way back up. So just that left leg is bending. Hinge at the hips and back up. Getting a bit of a hamstring stretch in that right leg. A little length through the torso. 2 more. Last one. This time you're going to reach down towards your feet with your arms, keeping a generally flat back, and then sweep your arms up. And circle your arms out to the side. And then this time hinge, but sweep down with your arms and lift them all the way up and circle around. 3 more. And lift. 2. And last one. Take your time as you sweep your arms all the way up, circle them around, and then change sides. So now the left leg is going to come out in front of you, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Hinge at the hips as that right leg bends, left leg stays straight. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. And hinge back. And up. And down. And up. 3 more. And then we will add a little sweeping arms. This time, stay down. Reach your arms toward your feet. Notice if there's a difference between sides and lift up, circle around. 4 more. 3, hinging at the hips. 2. And last one. Good, come all the way around. Find yourself long ways looking at your mat. Hinge at the hips here. Round all the way down, and then walk yourself out into a nice plank here. And then lift your hips up to the ceiling. Think about that hinge you were just doing as you push back. And then again, bend one knee and then straighten the other and switch. 2 or 3 times to each side. Here, your head is nice and long, or neck rather. Reaching those hips up towards the ceiling. And then bend your knees nice and wide and sit back towards your heels. And then just take a second here to take a nice breath. Feel your back expand and your belly drop towards the floor. 2 more times. Last one. Good, and then coming forward onto all fours. You can either be on your hands here, or you can be on your forearms, whichever you prefer. And you're just gonna extend your right leg back. Sorry, I am dying of heat. The heat kicked on, I'm turning on the air conditioning. Okay. Right leg is back, you're gonna lift it straight up, holding that leg here. You're gonna think about reaching your toes long as you hinge at that left hip and send yourself back so you're not quite over those hands anymore. And then seesaw yourself forward. So think about hinging at that left hip, reaching back through the right toes, and then bringing them with you. 4 more. Think about widening that left sitting bone and then pull yourself forward. 2. And last one. And then come forward and pause. Extend your left arm out in front of you. Tap them down and lift. Tap and lift. And if you decide you want to bend that right leg and just lift your foot up towards the ceiling, taking your bottom part of your leg out of the equation, you're welcome to do so. 2 more. Last one. Pause at the top. Round your spine, pull your knee towards your elbow in front of you or underneath you, and then extend, pause here. And then again, draw it under, pause, and then extend, pause. Don't worry about your knee and elbow touching. Just thinking about finding that stability and balance as you pause, extended, and then again, round it in, really pushing through that whole right hand, and extend. 2 more. Last one. Pause here with your arm and leg extended. You're going to send your left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right, and then back to center. Not crossing the midline, but just going out to the side and back in. 4 more. 3, feel those inner thighs sort of squeeze gently towards one another. 2. And last one. And then drop that left arm, drop your right knee, and then sit yourself back into a little child's pose here. Flip your palms up towards the ceiling. Take a second. And then come all the way back. And again, to start, you can be on your forearms if you prefer. Extend that left leg back and up behind you. From here, reach back through the left toes, let it pull your hips back as you hinge at the right hip, and send yourself forward. And then let your shoulders come back off being on top of your hands, and then let them come back over. Notice if you start to lift the weight out of that right hand, you want to keep your arms even. Keep thinking about those heels of the hands driving back towards your knees. 2 more. Hips go straight back, not just to the right. And last one. Good. Pause here. Extend that right arm. Tap the toe and the fingers and lift. And again, if you want to tap the knee and the fingers instead, by all means, whatever you prefer. Lifting and down for 3, 2, last one. Pause here. Bend the knee and elbow underneath you. They don't need to touch. And then extend and pause. And then bend it in. Round your spine and pause. And extend and pause. Good. 4 more. 2. Pause here. Let the arm and leg go out in opposite directions, making that little diagonal line here, out to the side and back in. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. And then come all the way in, drop your hands down, drop your knees down. From here, you're going to turn your palms so that they face your knee, or your fingers rather, so that they face your knees. And then you're just going to sit your hips back towards your heels and then coming all the way forward. And then again, tuck those fingers under. If you'd like to tuck your toes under so you get a little stretch in the feet here as well, go for it. Just make sure you're not hyperextending through the elbows. You have a little softness there. And then forward one more time, stretching out those wrists. And then come forward, good. And then from here, you're going to have your fingers point, but you're going to come onto the tops of your hands. The closer your knees are to your hands, the less intense this will be. And then again, you can have those toes tucked under, and you're going to send your weight back and forward, stretching out the tops of those hands and those wrists. Oh, it's been too much time on my phone, on a plane. 2 more. Last one, make sure you're breathing, and then turn your hands to face front, and then bring your knees back underneath your hips. And then you're just going to bring your hips a little, or your knees rather, a little bit wider than your hips, your hands right underneath your shoulders, and you're going to send your hips back by your heels, and you're going to come all the way around to the right, all the way around to the left, and back. Pause here in like a modified lifted up child's pose. Go back to the left, reverse that circle, pause in the center, and then again to the right, and back. One more time, moving through the hips and the wrists. Pause here, reach your hands even farther forward so you're really in a child's pose here. You're going to come all the way forward and then walk your knees back so you find yourself in a nice kneeling plank here. You can still have those knees a little wider or narrower, whatever feels comfortable for your hips. Tuck the tailbone under, find yourself in this nice supported position here. Shift your weight over to the right, knees stay heavy. Shift your weight over to the left and to the right. Softness in your elbows, over to the left, over to the right. One more time to the left. Pause here in the center. If you need at any point, bring your knees a little more underneath you. You're going to let your shoulder blades slide towards one another, sink down towards the floor, press the ground away. And then let your shoulder blades sink in, press the floor away. 5 more. 4, press away. 3, your neck just sort of goes along for the ride. Keep thinking about reaching it long towards the wall in front of you. 2, last one, pause here, and then send your heels back toward your hips, and let your hands sort of drag along the floor as you sit back, taking a second here. And then you're going to stack yourself all the way up and make a fist with your hands so you're just grabbing on, and you're just going to roll them around. We're going to give ourselves a break now, and then reverse the direction. Great. And then from here, come to sit at the top of your mat. Your feet are going to be bent or long in front of you, your choice. And you're going to start with your hands. Actually, bend your knees regardless. Feet are planted on the floor, hands underneath your thighs. And then just take a second here and round over yourself. And then with your hands against your thighs, feel your thighs press into your hands press into your thighs as you stack yourself up nice and tall. And then you're just going to curl back, feel the thighs heavy in the hands as you round back. Doesn't need to be a big round back, but just think about opening up through the front of those hips, ribs drawing down towards your hips, sacrum reaching towards the floor, and then stack your spine all the way back up. And again, round down, think sacrum towards the floor before anything else. And stack yourself back up. 2 more. Legs heavy in the hands. And lift, last one, pausing down. You are going to bring your right leg up, keep it nice and heavy. Your left leg is going to come to meet it. So you're balancing here, hands are heavy in, or thighs are heavy in your hands, and then you're just going to roll all the way back down, nice and slowly. Keep tucking, keep breathing. And then bring your knees into tabletop. And then from here, bring your hands behind your head. Keep thinking that your hands are there to support your thighs, and then you're going to lengthen your head all the way down to the floor. Tuck the head, neck, and shoulders as you lift up, and then lowering all the way back down. And again, curl and lift up, sliding your ribs gently down towards your hips. And your legs are kind of not doing much. If you'd prefer to drop them down to the floor, you obviously can. But think that your knees and femurs are nice and heavy in the hip socket. 2 more. And last one, pause here at the top. Extend your right leg and then bend it back in. Think about having that thigh underneath that right thigh as you extend and bring it back in. And if you want to literally put your right arm there for support, go for it. And back in. 3 more. Head is heavy in the hands. Shoulder blades are gently lifted off the floor if you can. Pause with that right leg in. Lower the head, neck, and shoulders. Take a nice big inhale. And on your exhale, draw the ribs down towards your belly button as you come up and extend the left leg. Same thing. If you want to do all or a couple with just that hand sliding on the thigh for a bit of support, go for it. Extend and bend. Really just think about opening through the back of the knee and then resisting back in. The height of the heel or toes really doesn't change much. 2. Last one. Pause with the legs bent, lower the head, neck, and shoulders. Extend both arms up towards the ceiling, and you're going to extend your right arm and left leg, and then resist to bring it back in. Staying with that left leg and right arm. And if you'd like, you can lift the head, neck, and shoulders, but that right hand still stays on top of the shoulder. 3 more. 2. Last one, pause in the center. Switching sides. So left arm, right leg reaches away in opposition and then resist to come back in. And if this is too much, you can drop the heel on that right foot, or left foot rather. Or if you want to take it up a notch, lift the head. Keep that right hand on top of the shoulder. 2 more. Last one. And then bring the knees all the way in towards your chest. Bring the hands behind the head and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then when you're ready, find the connection between the back ribs and the floor as your knees come back to tabletop. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Extend the legs together and bring them back in. And extend and back in. Make sure that they are going at a nice 45-degree angle. You can even do straight up towards the ceiling if you need. You do not want your stomach pressing up towards the ceiling. And then from here, you're going to lower your head and lift your head as you extend your legs. Lower the head as you bend the legs in. Maybe this coordinated move lets your range of motion change a little. Maybe it doesn't. Either way, take note. Last one. Bring the knees all the way in, grab onto them with one knee in each hand, and then bring your knees out and around for nice circles. Let the back press the floor, let the legs come out wide, let the low back lift if that feels good as you bring your legs together, whatever feels nice for those hips, and then reverse. Pull them in and let them fall away. But keep using those knees, hands on the knees for support. One more time. And then lower your left leg and bring your right ankle across. So you're in this nice figure 4 stretch position. Bring your hands onto your hips and then think about gently externally rotating the thigh of that right leg and gently reaching away. And then when you're ready, bring your hands back behind your head, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. And then from here, you're gonna twist and rotate up and over towards the left, and then lower all the way back down. So that left elbow is reaching up and across towards that right leg, and back down. The left hip stays nice and heavy. And down. 3. Think about those left ribs going towards your right hip. Last one. And then lower all the way back down. From here, hands are uncross your legs real quick, and then we will add on right away from this. Feel your feet pressing firmly into the ground. Find a little pull back from the heels towards the glutes, and then lift your hips up into a nice bridge here. Shoulder blades are nice and wide across the floor, and then tap those hips back down. And then again, press them straight up. And tap down. 3 more. Just getting a nice feel for that lever motion. That is the femur picking up the hips. Last one, pause at the top. And slowly melt all the way down, tucking the tailbone under and roll all the way down to the ground. Cross that right foot over one more time. Find that figure 4 position. Press down through the left leg. Feel the heel gently draw back towards you so you find the hamstring engaged even before you started moving. Think about that gentle external rotation of that right leg as you lift your hips up. Quickly glance, make sure that they're staying nice and even, and then tap the hips back down. And then again, lift up and down and up and down. 4 more. Collarbone is nice and wide, only lifting so high that your rib cage is staying nice and closed. It's not flaring. Your hips are staying square. That left leg is pointing straight in front of you, not out to the side. Pause at the top. Extend your right leg to tabletop. Extend it long. Draw it back in. Shoulder blades are nice and relaxed on the floor. Draw it in. 2. Only doing 4 of these. So we have last one. And then bend the knee in underneath. Lower the hips. Lift. Extend. Bend it in. Lower. Lift. And extend. 3 more. Find that opening of that right leg as you bring that leg back in and place it down. Find that little external rotation and then drop the hips. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then from here, bring your knees into your chest. Keep that figure 4 position, but this time grab on behind the left thigh. Take a nice breath in and out. Taking a second here to stretch. You can circle your ankles if that feels nice. You can gently rock back and forth from right to left, wherever you pause, and get a nice stretch that works for you. And then lower your legs all the way down. And then you're going to cross your left leg over your right Again, take a second. Find that external rotation of the left leg. And then bring the hands behind your head. And you're just going to lift straight up. And then twist to the right. And then center and down. I said twist to the right. I mean right side towards your left leg. And up. And rotate. Think about those right ribs sliding over towards your left hip. For 5. 4. 3. 2 more. And last one. And then lower all the way down. Keep thinking about that gentle external rotation of this left leg, hands by your side, and then lift the hips up, and then lower down. And lift. Think about that right leg reaching straight ahead, that heel gently dragging back towards your glutes or your shoulders, and your torso is pretty relaxed. Maybe this right arm wants to sort of creep up. Mine certainly does. I'm going to sort of take my arm out of the equation. 3 more. 2. Gazes straight down, looking in the nose, not giving yourself a little extra arch there in the neck. Pause here at the top. Untuck your leg, extend it out for 4. 3. 2. And last one. Bend that leg in, cross it over, take a second to find that little external rotation. Tap the hips down. Lift, extend, bend it in, cross. Tap it down. 4 more. Going nice and slowly, thinking about your stability and not sort of just using momentum to cruise through this. Two more. Last one. Lift. Good. Externally rotate. Keep that external rotation as you drop the hips. And then pull that right knee in towards your chest. Grab on behind the thigh. Or you can grab onto the shin if that's more comfortable. And then just take a moment here. You can go from the right side over to the left. Find your most comfortably uncomfortable stretch. A few more breaths here. Good. And then hands behind the thighs. And then curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Start to press your hands in, or your thighs into your hands and extend your legs. And then bend everything all the way back in and down. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Press the thighs into the hands, which will lift your shoulders a bit and extend. And back down. And lift. And extend. 2 more just like this. Last one, pause here. Extend the arms overhead. Press them down to your hips. Externally rotate palms face the ceiling as you lift up. Turn the palms away. Press down, get a little higher. 2 more, palms up, lift. If you're shaking, so am I. Palms towards the floor. Press down. Last one, lift. Press down. Grab on behind the thighs. Keep your torso lifted. And let yourself rock up until you come to balance on top of your sacrum, your tailbone here. Legs are bent. And you're going to extend your right arm, extend your left arm, and roll everything with control all the way back. Onto your back, bring your knees into your chest. Hands behind your thighs one more time. We're going to come up into that teaser position. So really let those legs pull you up. Extend your legs as much as you can. Extend the arms and hold here for 3, 2, last one. Lower the legs down and then round forward over your legs. Bend them as much as you need. And then stack your spine all the way up tall. And you can have your legs straight out in front of you or cross-legged, whichever is better for you to be able to sit up nice and tall. If you would prefer to have your legs long, but you are not able to do so with your back nice and tall, grab a pillow or a stack of blankets or a yoga block to sit on. That will work. And from here, reach your arms straight out in front of you. Palms can either face the floor or each other, your choice. Think about reaching those fingertips long and then gently pull them back so your shoulder blades are flat on your back. And then from here, you're going to round forward, nod the chin, and then think about peeling yourself off of a wall behind you and rolling over a ball that's in front of you. So nothing changes with the legs. And then stack your spine back up one vertebrae at a time and let your head and shoulders come back. And if you have a wall behind you and you would like to sit against the wall for a little bit of extra feedback, go for it. So shoulder blades nice and flush with the floor. Head, not floor, the wall. Head is also flush with the wall, but I have a painting, so mine's a little forward. Nod your chin, and then think about peeling yourself up over the wall, but that low back stays connected, round forward. Take a nice breath here. Feel your back expand. Exhale, stack your spine all the way back up. 2 more. Nod your chin, peel yourself away. That low back still stays connected. Even like the lower mid back as well. Then peel yourself all the way back up. Last one. Reach back with your back. Hollow out through the center. And then peel yourself all the way back up. And then let your arms fall towards your side. Slide away from the wall. And then bring your legs at least as wide as your mat would be. Same thing, you can prop yourself up here. I am just going to bend my knees a whole bunch. So give yourself plenty of room. You're going to extend your arms out to the side and then bend and put your hands on your shoulders. You're going to think about sitting up nice, not think about, you are sitting nice and tall, and then you're going to twist and rotate towards the right. And then you're going to come back center. You're going to twist and rotate over to the left and come center. 2 more times to each side, like this. Exhale as you twist. Inhale as you come center. Exhale as you twist. And center. Exhale, twist. And center. This time you're going to twist. Extend your left arm towards your right toe. And then stack yourself all the way back up. Rotate center. Twist to the left. Reach your right arm like you're going to saw off your left toe. And back to the center. 2 more to each side like this. Reach and hinge. Think about reaching out of the hips. Center to the left. Hinge. And up. Hinge. And last one to the left. Hinge. Come all the way up. Shake your legs out. And then you are going to find yourself with your hands behind you. Press through the feet. And your feet are going to be planted on the ground, but they are nice and wide. Wider than your hips again. And you're just going to let your knees fall over to the right. And then fall over to the left. If you feel like this is very tight, walk your feet rather wider, and then over to the right one more time, rolling onto the inside edge, and over to the left. All right, so baseline here. Now, you're going to find that figure 4 position. So, right shin is going to be parallel to the long side, or short side of your mat. Left leg is parallel to the long side of your mat. Sitting up nice and tall here, bringing your left hand onto your left hip. Think about reaching up through that hip. Your right arm is your support to sit up nice and tall. And then you're just going to think about hinging at that left hip and trying to let that sitting bone find the floor. It may not, it may never, that's fine. Lift your hip up, find that extension, find that bit of rotation, and then hinge at the hip. And if you want to rotate a little towards the left as you do this, and then rotate up and a little towards the right as you find that extension, go for it. And back down. One more time. And down. From here, with that left sitting bone as close to the floor as it's ever going to get today, bring your left hand onto your left calf, right hand overhead, and get a nice side stretch here. Breathing into your right ribs. Exhale and try to find a little bit more of a stretch. Good. And then bring your hands back behind you and you're going to swing your legs around to the other side. So right leg in line with the long edge, left leg parallel to the short edge. Hand on this right hip, left arm is keeping you supported. And then you're going to lift up, find that length and opening through the front of that right hip. Length through the torso. Again, if you want to add that little bit of twist and rotation to the left, go ahead. You're going to hinge, find that left sitting bone, reach back towards the floor. Try not to let that left knee come up. And then lift up. 3 more. And lift. 2. And last one. Good, bring that left hip all the way down as close as it's going to get for the moment. Right hand to your right calf, press away. As you bring that left arm up overhead, take a nice big inhale. Breathing into that left side, exhale. Try to bend a little more over to this left side. 2 more breaths. Last one. And then stack your spine all the way up as tall as you can. And then bring those hips behind you. And you're going to come into all fours one more time. From here, tuck that tailbone under. Feel the openness through the front of your hips as you round up towards the ceiling. You're finding that extension in the hips. Lengthen through the upper back. And then find that hinge of the hips as you widen through the sitting bones and find this nice bit of extension here. And again, press through the hands, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Open through the hips and back down. One more time. And then pause in neutral. With your knees right underneath your hips, nice neutral spine, press up through the hands. You're going to take your right leg bent and you're going to bring your thigh parallel to the floor. Your foot is reaching up towards the ceiling. You're going to externally rotate, so your foot is going to come in closer towards your butt and lower, not lower, but ideally it'd be in line with your knee. Your right knee is out to the side. You're going to pull that right knee up towards your upper arm and then lower it all the way back down. And then lift it straight up, externally rotate. Let this be nice and slow. Bring it towards your upper arm and down. 2 more. Externally rotate, open, up towards the upper arm and down. The last one in this direction. Externally rotating, up towards the upper arm and down. Now we're going to reverse it. So you're going to open out to the side, reach it back, find that length through the front of the hip, and then drop it down. And again, lift it up to the side. Internally rotate now as you bring it to center. 2 more. Open to the right, find that internal rotation. Drop, last one. And down. Great. Changing sides. So, Left leg is going to lift straight up behind you, floor, thigh parallel to the floor. Externally rotate, so left knee lifts. Foot drops in. Pull it up towards your upper arm, and then lower it back down. And then lift it straight up. Externally rotate, find that drop of the foot. In and down. 2 more. Seeing if you feel like you have a little more range of motion or even just lubrication, smoothness of motion through that right or left hip now. And open. And down. This time out to the side. Find that internal rotation, bring that thigh back parallel, and drop it down. 3 more. Two. Lift. Last one. And down to the floor. Bring your knees nice and wide. Reach your hands forward and sit back onto your heels. And then let your chest drop towards the floor. And feel yourself breathing wide across the back of the shoulders, those back ribs. Feel a little expansion there. And then slowly peel yourself all the way up. And you're going to find yourself either laying down on the floor or up against a wall. Your choice. So if you're up against a wall, you're in goalpost arms just like this. And if you're laying on the ground, you're doing the same thing, but your knees are bent, feet planted on the floor. From here, keeping the backs of your hands and your fingertips connected with the floor or wall, you're going to lift your arms up until you start to feel a bit of a stretch. And then drag them back down. And then lift, find that little bit of a stretch. And drag it back down. 4 more. Back is staying connected to the wall. 2. Last one. And then let your arms come all the way down by your side. Turn to face your mat long ways. Standing with your hips nice and centered over your feet, your shoulders right over your hips, and your head in line. You're going to nod your chin and you're going to roll all the way down to the floor, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then walk yourself out. Find yourself in a nice plank here. Hold for a moment. Tailbone is gently tucked. Energy reaching out your heels and the crown of your head. Lift your hips up into a down dog. Bend your knees if you need. And then walk yourself all the way back. Let your head be nice and heavy. Shake it yes, shake it no. Grab opposite arm or opposite hand, opposite elbow, and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other, keeping about lengthening the crown of your head towards the floor. And then let your arms be long. Knees are nice and bent. Tuck the tailbone under, and then you're going to peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time, just like we did in the beginning. And then your shoulders are going to stack themselves all the way up. And you are all finished. Thanks. See you next weekend.